want to welcome none other one of the legends in this business, Mr. John Bourdin, our operations director here at Global Print Business. John, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes, we can hear you.
Outstanding.
How's Mexico?
Again, it is beautiful. It is much warmer than Maryland.
Well, welcome, my friend.
No problem. So again, I want to say happy holidays to everyone, and then good morning. And the purpose of this discussion is really to make sure those that are not aware are in full view of the opportunity that's in front of them starting in 2022. Whether you've been in the Medicare business for years or you're new to the industry, basically just like anything else in life, a new year creates new opportunity. And we start off in the Medicare world with a new opportunity that is very, very strong, with OEP being the first 3 months of the year. So Mike, if you can go ahead to the next slide. So I want to make sure everyone is clear what OEP is. Each year, there's what's called the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment Period, which is from January 1st through March 31st. During this time, if the customer you're talking to has a Medicare Advantage plan already and they want to make a change, they can do one of two things. They can either switch to a new Medicare Advantage plan, or they can opt to go back to original Medicare. And if necessary, there's something they'll need to do, but they'll need to get a Part D plan if they go to original Medicare. That presents huge opportunities for us in our industry. Invariably, when I look statistically year over year at the business, at least for global, most organizations, most people in the Medicare world kind of operate like I don't know if you have Rita's Italian ice stores in your area, but they pop up seasonally. And then once that season ends, they disappear. And they shutter the stores and they shut down. We're open year round. So where most organizations, 80 to 90%, if not 100% of the business that they write in the Medicare Advantage world is done during open enrollment. In our organization, roughly about 40% is done then. Why? Because we write business year round. So we continue outside of those 3 months, October, that's 7 weeks of AEP, October 15th to December the 7th. So if you can go to the next page there, Mike. It's very important that everyone understands, though, what the rules are around doing business during this time of year. Yes, it is a phenomenal opportunity, but you need to make sure that you are clear on what you can and cannot do during that time frame. So CMS is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, is the government body that regulates our industry. They issue a Medicare Communications and Marketing Guideline every year that's updated, okay? You should become familiar with that, okay? You should review these guidelines, especially if you plan on doing any marketing of your own. Typically, if you're with an organization like Global Premier Benefits, and we have our own compliance team, and we have our own marketing plans that we make sure are within line. But if you're going to do your own marketing, it's very important that you understand the guidelines because you're responsible for making sure that you understand those rules. So what I want to share with you is just some highlights of what the guidelines will tell you about OEP. So here are key marketing rules for OEP. It's important that you understand you cannot knowingly target Medicare Advantage or Part D enrollees during OEP. Okay, CMS, the federal government, is very, very, very protective of the senior community. So they do not want people being targeted. So any advertising that's saying, hey, OEP is upon us, if you're advertising that, you are out of compliance, okay? I'm gonna just, in a snapshot, explain what the approach to OEP is. But the key thing is you can't send unsolicited marketing materials advertising OEP. Again, if OEP is the centerpiece of your marketing, you are out of compliance. Can't target OEP as an opportunity to make further sales. Okay, the key thing is in our business model, we do business year round. We're looking to help seniors at any point in the year. Our advertising and marketing is geared towards the demographics and individuals that can benefit from our assistance year round. regardless of whether or not it's AEP or OEP or SEP, okay? You cannot contact former enrollees who selected a new plan during AEP, okay? So what does that mean? I have a customer that I enrolled last year, let's say August of last year. AEP came around, that customer decides they wanted to try a different plan for 2022. You cannot specifically target those individuals unless they have opted in and contacted you to say, yes, I need help, I want to make a change. You can't go back to them and say, hey, look, I want to bring you back, okay? That's out of compliance, okay? But let's talk about what you can do. Next slide there, Mike. Here are the simple things you can do, okay? You can send marketing materials if a beneficiary makes a proactive request. So again, if you have an existing client, and we just had a conversation in our mastermind meeting this morning, existing customer contacts the agent saying, hey, I made a mistake, I changed plans, and I really want to go back to what you put me in. They reach out to you, yes, you can talk to that customer, and if the opportunity presents itself, you can use OEP as a special election to get them into a new Medicare Advantage plan. You can market to agents, 5-star plans, dual eligibles, and LIS. So that's our normal, that's our bread and butter. At Global Premier Benefits, that's what we do, okay? We market to generate leads for agents, for 5-star plans. Cigna has a 5-star plan in Florida, in multiple markets, parts of Florida. Dual eligible market. Dual eligible meaning customers that have both Medicare and Medicaid. Those are our central focus. This is the demographic. The lower income seniors are the ones that in many cases are ignored. Why? Most companies that are spending millions of dollars on marketing do not want to market to people that don't have the means to buy a product from them. So our consumers, the customers we primarily focus on, are largely ignored because most people don't want to advertise to them because they can't afford to buy something, okay? That is our window. And many of those customers, as Tony was just talking about a little while ago, are on original Medicare and are not aware of additional benefits that are available to them that can improve the quality of their benefits and or lower their out-of-pocket costs. That's what we do. LIS benefits, or the Extra Help program, which is offered through Social Security, is a benefit that helps reduce the out-of-pocket costs for medications, which in this day and age, with folks living longer, big part of the reason why people are living longer is there's prescriptions, there's medications that can help them with whatever permanent or chronic conditions they have, allow them to manage that care, whether it's diabetes, COPD, whatever. There's medications that help them, but the challenge for many people, especially as an example, when we talk about cancer, we live in a day and age now where most forms of cancer are survivable. The issue isn't that folks can't survive the ailment. The issue for many is that they can't afford the treatment that would help them survive the ailment. So having programs like LIS, state pharmaceutical assistance programs, Medicaid, and of course the private insurance that go along with that, help people live longer and higher levels of quality of life. Okay, next slide. So other opportunities, I talked about this, okay? Education is a centerpiece of our approach from a marketing standpoint at Global Premier Benefits. I just talked about the fact that there's a lot of folks that are still on original Medicare and Medicaid, or just original Medicare if they didn't qualify for Medicaid. And education is the gap for a lot of them. They don't have the information that they need to make the moves to improve their situation. That's where we come in. So we're educating. There's opportunities to educate seniors on Extra Help and Medicaid and state pharmaceutical assistance programs, okay? These are all state and or federal programs that are geared towards helping seniors improve the quality of their care and lower their out-of-pocket costs. It just so happens, though, that in helping educate seniors on these programs and helping them enact these programs and take advantage of these programs, it creates a special election which allows them to gain access to even more benefits through Medicare Advantage, okay? Next thing is supplements, okay? Invariably, you're going to have that segment when we talk about Medicare. The conventional wisdom is that Medicare pays roughly 80% of the out-of-pocket costs. The other 20% come out of the beneficiary's pocket unless they have something else in place to help cover that. Those something else typically are going to be either Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement. You have many seniors, a large segment of the senior population that has opted to go the Medicare Supplement route. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the key thing, though, is if someone is on a supplement, typically the best solution or replacement for a supplement is another supplement. The difference is price. If someone's on an F plan, educating them on what's happening with F plans and the fact that G plan may be a cost-effective replacement for their F. Educate them on the other plans that are available, the N plans and so forth, okay? But letting them know that, hey, an F plan from company A is the same as an F plan from a company B versus a company G, okay? The only difference is price, okay? How much are you gonna pay for those benefits? And helping them take advantage of those opportunities. Ancillary products, okay? If you talk to a customer who has everything lined up, they've got their Medicaid, they've got their Medicare, they've got their plan, everything is lined up, they have everything they need, but there may be some other gaps. Hospital indemnity. If someone's on a Medicare Advantage plan, the vast majority of Medicare Advantage plans have an out-of-pocket cost when someone is hospitalized. The question becomes, where does that money come from? And if they had an opportunity to insulate themselves from that risk, would they take advantage of it? Now, the key thing here is not everyone is going to take advantage of it, but I can guarantee you 100% of the people that you don't ask are not going to buy it from you, because if you don't offer, they won't buy. So you can improve your odds of making a sale and helping seniors by explaining to them what benefits are available and making sure they have the option to choose, okay? Also, cancer. I just talked about this a little while ago. Cancer, heart attack, strokes. Again, when it comes to cancer, I have so many members of my own family. It's so seldom that I come across anybody that doesn't know someone personally that has either passed from some form of cancer or at least been impacted by some form of cancer. You're hard pressed to find people that have not been touched by that. I've got family members all around. My own mother is a cancer survivor. So the key thing there is there are costs that are associated with cancer treatment. And just like any other form of insurance, you can't wait until you need it to buy it. It's a pre-need type of product. So it's an opportunity to insulate yourself from the cost and make sure that if there is going to be anything available that's going to improve you or your family members' opportunity or chances of surviving, that cost will be less likely to be an obstacle to that survival. Having a product like these is critical to that end. And again, it's just educating seniors on what's available, letting them know what the opportunities are for them, and letting them choose whether or not they want to avail themselves of it. Final thing is final expense. Same thing here. When you're talking to a senior, you don't have to convince a senior that they're not going to live forever. If they've been on this earth long enough, they've been to enough funerals to know that eventually one of these days it's going to be their show. And it's unfortunate that many folks just have not taken advantage of it. It's one of those things that most people you talk to know that they need to do it, but until someone asks them and really put them to the question of, hey, who do you have your coverage with? Who do you have your final expense coverage with? That's where they really make that decision. And a lot of them always put off to the future because they have the idea that they always will have more time. Well, a lot of times seniors need to understand that, number one, there's very few insurance companies that are going to insure you past, say, age 84. And number two, every year that goes by that you wait, every year that you procrastinate on pulling the trigger, means that the cost of that decision is going to be higher and higher. So it's never going to be any cheaper than it is today. Key thing there is identifying the opportunity, helping them decide how much coverage they need, and then taking them through the process of doing the application so that they can get the coverage that they need. Those opportunities persist year round. The only exception in these four categories is actually, there's not even an exception there. If you're talking to a senior in the fourth quarter of any given year and they do not have Medicaid or extra help or state pharmaceutical assistance, and they're eligible for it, you can help them apply, and that will create a special election year round in any given quarter. In the fourth quarter of any given year, the folks that have Medicaid or LIS or state pharmaceutical assistance, those are the folks that are not able to use that special election in the fourth quarter. So every one of these categories is something that you can do year round. A lot of folks here, December 7th, Medicare annual enrollment period is over, and they think, okay, well, we're shut down until next year. They couldn't be any further from wrong. From right, I should say. The key thing here is there's plenty of opportunity, and we open up with a great opportunity beginning January 1. Mike, next slide. Any questions for me? Wow, I must have done a great job.
I guess so, John. You brought it down on them that they're speechless.
I see, Greg, your line is open. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Greg.
Okay, thank you very much. So I guess my question goes back to sort of the fundamental when you said there was a team there ready to help us get started in this. And I just came from a company and just got out of AEP and wanted to look at this company with regard to how we're getting into OEP and how the team helps us get our license in order, because this was one of my failings that a previous company was unable to manage. And so I couldn't do the sales that I knew I was capable of because they couldn't get my license reassigned to them. And I don't want to get into that snag again.
Oh, so when you say license, I presume you're referencing contract if you're saying getting it assigned to them.
Yes, exactly. Terminology is not my forte, but yes.
No worries, no worries. And that's a great point. So the key thing here is this: every year, as we approach the annual election period, AEP, all of the carriers go into a blackout period, a lockdown period.
Right.
So folks cannot move. Now, as of January 1, that lockout period ends, and you can then make moves to where you want to go. So the key thing is you're doing exactly what you should be doing, taking advantage of this opportunity now to shop around and find a new home so that we can pull the trigger immediately come January 1. That way you don't lose time.
Yes, and so, and that's my biggest concern, because I know that I can sell. I've done it for years, but I just want to have everything in place. I don't want there to be surprises, and all of a sudden, I'm either capped or, or the carriers are limited. I don't want that. I just want to be sure that I have someone to help walk me through it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Greg, your question is a great segue into the rest of our presentation. Tony's going to go over not only how to become a part of the organization, but more specifically, why you would want to be a part of Global Premier Benefits. So with that, Tony, I'll pass the torch over to you.